The next type of measure of position that we'll talk about is the percentile. These are most familiar to people from SAT reports. So Janelle just received her SAT results. Her SAT math score is 600, but the report also says this score is in the 74th percentile. What does this mean? It turns out that possible SAT scores range from 200 to 800. So let's say, I guess we'd have 400 about there and 600 about there. And Janelle got 600. That's her score. What does that tell us? Well, it looks like a pretty good score, but the thing is, every time a different group of students takes the SAT, their score distribution is going to be different. So this is another case where we want to know, how did Janelle do relative to everyone else who took that particular SAT? And one way of describing this is the percentile. So Janelle is told that this score of hers is the 74th percentile. What does that mean? Well, what that means is that 74% of the test takers did worse than she did. I'll say got a lower score. Leaving, of course, then the other 26% to get a better, higher score. So what we mean by a percentile, here's a definition, the kth percentile, so K stands for that number, like in the example with Janelle, the kth is the 74th, so K is 74. Anyway, the kth percentile is the value for which K% of the observations, and in the example we just did, an observation is an observed test score by an actual person. So it's the value for which K% of the observations are less than or equal to the value. So the value in the example above is the 600. So let's see, I can stick that in here. So the value from the example above is 600, and K in the example above is 74. Now, this video is so short that I'm not going to stop the video for you to do the build your understanding problem. So if you would, please pause the video and do the following build your understanding problem. So it's another SAT question. John's SAT report says he got a score of 530 on the reading writing portion of the exam, and that his score is in the 50th percentile. What does this mean? And then bonus question, can you think of another name we have already learned for 50th percentile? And I'll just start you out by reminding you that, or telling you that it's also true for the reading writing portion. The possible scores go from 200 to 800. Okay, so pause the video here, please, and briefly do this. Okay, I hope you paused the video and took a crack at this. I'm going to go ahead and put in a few more marks. So let's see, I guess, well, 500 would be about there. So 530 would be about there. So this is John's score. Being in the 50th percentile means that 50% of the students who took this SAT test got a lower score, and 50% of the test scores were higher. So can you think of another word we've used for a number that's in the middle of a data set in the sense that 50% of the numbers are lower and 50% are higher? Yeah, that's also called the median. So the median and the 50th percentile are the same thing.